Right then, let's crack on with this little fella, shall we? Oh, we're in trouble. We're getting the Starship filth out again. Many people are going, I can't get hold of that stuff. I know, you can't get hold of it anywhere for love nor money. Right, so I'm just going to pop that lid off, make sure I've got none on my fingers. I'm going to get some gloves. Just nudge you out of the way slightly because my gloves are off there somewhere. Just another shot from you. One second, get your fingers in the right holes. Alright, here's giggling. Oh, he's got the Starship filth out again. Yeah, I know. Alright, so I'm just going to get my oldest thinners. And using a pipetting gefaden, just going to suck up a small amount. Well, I should do. So it's nothing scientific at all, by any stretch of the imagination. Put the lid back on before I knock it over. And it's not called doing a Tony anymore, it's called doing a Langy. I'm not laughing. Yes I am. No I'm not. Right, so tiny little quantity of odorless thinners. And I'm literally going to take a goop of stuff from the lid of the Starship filth and then mix all that together. Like so. We'll probably need a little bit more than that. Let's test it off to the side. Yeah, I'll need some more than that. So from the tube, I'll take another squitch. I genuinely don't know the quantity of this, it just mixes until it looks right. And that looks about right. Let's go guess that. I like that. Right, good test of doing this now before you actually move on to the model is, if you look at the glove, you can see all these lovely little wrinkles. So we're just going to load that brush up a little bit and drop it in, and you should see zip down the glove. I'll try that again with this one here. There you go, zip all the way down. That's a capillary reaction at work. So just do another couple there. Yep, zip, lovely. That's the consistency we're after. So where's my towel? All my towel that I use for cleaning all my brushes off. I'm just going to wipe that away like so. Just dry it all off. Not pulling, not grabbing, not twisting or anything like that. Just give it a good rub. You can make your own jokes. There we go, nice and dry. We've actually cleaned the brush at the same time because it's odorless thinners on the brush. It is bizarre how that works. I genuinely can't explain that. Right, so a separate brush from your acrylics. These are my oil painting brushes, and then we've got a cup full of acrylic painting brushes with tweezers that are in there as well, and then we get a whole nother bunch that are in a stand off there somewhere. So I'm just going to grab my little tiny detaily painty brushy type thing, and then if I bring you in closely enough you should be able to see this zip up the bristles like so. That's another good test of whether your paint's ready or not, the way it goes up the thing. Right, I know we're doing a pin wash rather than a gunk wash, and you're literally just touching into the lines and you should see it zip off around all the crooks and nannies like so. Oh, that was a good one. Hopefully you caught that. Now we're not going to worry too much about little splots like that at the top. I'm not going to worry about that at all, because once this is dried you come back with a cotton bud and give it a quick scrub. Not a problem, it's done. Now I'm just going to overload my brush a little bit and demonstrate what would hang on, try that again. Demonstrate how to take care of this if you get too much on. So loads on the brush. I'm going to do a great big splot there like that. Now your initial reaction is when you come scrubbing in or you come dabbing away with your kitchen roll. Basically take your brush onto the kitchen roll like so, take all the excess off, and then use the brush to suck everything away. It's a lot more controlled, and eventually you end up with a nice clean surface again. So don't go panicking, don't go scrubbing away, That's far too much in the brush, Tony. Just stop, take a breath, breathe. Which is what you do when you take a breath anyway, silly boy. Just relax, think about it. Don't go scrubbing straight away. It's fine. I like that. So, nice subtle lines this time. We're not going in with a gunk wash. Not just yet. Splot. So that great big splot then, as you probably saw that, hopefully. It sort of like shrank away because it's filling all these little gaps in at the same time, all these little lines. Now of course there is absolutely nothing stopping you doing a full gunk wash at this stage. Just that at the moment I'm not in a gunk washy kind of mood. I want to try a few different techniques other than gunk washing. So there we go. Oh, I was holding my breath then. Too much. So again, great big splot there that we don't quite need. So I'm just going to take away the excess on the brush, off the brush onto the kitchen roll. Just going to like that with the brush. I like that. Just controls it a little bit. Not a problem. Now once we've done with this, we'll leave this to dry a couple of hours at least before we come back and have a look at it. Well, I can't get my breathing right today. My oratory skills have left me. Just going to run some down that side there. Right. So, just going to whip across, and this is a good test now of whether these decals have worked or not. Because that wash should now go straight over that decal. Oh, lovely. So I've got it right so far. Here we go, lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. Still some random lumps and bumps. Oh, we're not even in shot, Tony. Oh dear, I do apologise. I'm getting carried away again now. Right, I'll try that again on the opposite side. You watch this not work now. Hopefully you can see there, all the work we've done with the decal, the panel lines have now filled in a little bit, it's just a little bit more honey catch there, there we go. That's more like it. Right, I'll try that again this side. I'll stay in shot this time. There's one. A little bit too much, so again, don't panic. Take the excess off your brush, come back and loop. Like so. Do some more of that one. Lovely. There we go. Too much. Just nip around all these spots here. That bolt head is absolutely gorgeous. It's all that you can make that out now. Can we? Can we get close enough? Zoom. There we go. Look at that. I love that screw head. Let's get this one. Let's take some of that excess back out. There we go. Look at that detail. That's fantastic. Let's come back out a bit. Why not? I actually find this part very therapeutic. It's the stage of a build where normally I've got the earphones in listening to Kylie Minogue. Stop giggling. Or if not Kylie Minogue, I've got some kind of... Ooh, steady. Nearly did a langy. No, sorry Chris, you're not getting away with that one. You really shouldn't tell me stuff like that. For those of you that don't know, Chris got in touch with me a while back. He's been taking the mickey out of me for a long time now about knocking stuff over in my videos, and he's gone and done it himself. He's gone and knocked something over. So no, he's not getting away with that. I'm having him back. Oh, that was a good one. We're actually defying gravity here. Let's see if we can catch that on camera. Get a bit closer. That's the defy gravity. It's overload my brush. No, we're going uphill. Oh, focus. See if we can catch that again. Focus. Focus. Your paint going uphill. Oh, that's fantastic. I love that. It's going uphill. That will never cease to amaze me. I know. Small things in small minds. Right, it's cool. Right, so that's roughly everything I can do for now, I think. So this way is a lot more subtle than the full-on gunk wash. There's nothing stopping you doing a gunk wash, it's just that it's something I'm not choosing to do this time. I've got a couple of other ideas knocking about in my head that I want to try on this. I think that's everything. So let's catch all these now, all these little details here. Right, just zoom you back out again. The sound effects definitely help. So at some point I'm going to be uploading a video about the setup I use for filming. If you do choose to start filming your builds and you start zooming in and out like that, you've got to make the sound effects, otherwise you're not doing it right. It's the law and everything. Anyway, this should really pick out all the detail. So I'm going to be so careful this time, like we were on the main faces. So it's like we did with the cockpit itself. Just literally run everything everywhere. Oh, look at that. Oh, gurgle. At the time of filming, we're actually, let me think, about 8 days away from Easter. Would it be wrong of me to go and raid the Easter eggs that are bought for the kids and other family members and things like that, and then put it back tomorrow? It wouldn't be wrong of me at all, would it? So, just massively overloaded that part again. Not a problem. Most of it's wicked away anyway down the lines, but just wick it away with again with the dry brush. There we go. So that's now brought all that detail out, which is the exact same thing the ILM guys would have done. Like that a lot. Do like that. Oh, my voice is fading again. So we'll leave that a couple of hours to dry and see how it's taken in the pan line, see if we need to touch anything in here and there. Hopefully we shouldn't have to. There's the odd area where it's not quite taken. See one there. That's better. That's better. Alright, so let's have a quick look at this, see what it's doing. So let's come back into shot. Here we go. I'm going to zoom you in. Zoom you in. Get the right way. Here we go. Focus. Focus. Okay, so we're going to come across these lines that are coming this way, horizontally. That's the word I was looking for. We're going to come vertically across them, like so. And the lines are going vertically. We're going to come horizontally across them, like so. So you want to go perpendicular to any lines that you come across. Just to tidy them up. It's still a little bit wet, but you can work with that. Just a tiny little bit, tiny bit. There we go. You can just about work with that. Just tidies the edges up a little bit. And again, it's one of those therapeutic things. As you're doing it, your mind just drifts off. Stops worrying about the silly stuff that we have to worry about now and then as adults. Which is the whole point of doing this in the first place. It's a hobby. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be relaxing. It's supposed to help you drift off and forget about the real life stuff. As you can see, as I'm working on this, I'm grotting up the Q-tip, cotton bud, swab, whatever your part of the world calls these things. And what we're finding as well, because this oil paint is still slightly wet in parts, it's not quite catching that panel line that goes across the top here, because that panel line isn't quite deep enough for a wash. It's actually a raised panel, this one here, so it's not quite catching properly, but that's fine. We can have some chippage around that to help it. Let's say, because this panel wash is still a little bit wet, we're actually adding a slight filter to some of the edges. And that's okay. All that's to do weathering. So it's actually looking like little oil streaks here and there. And that's fine. It all adds up. It all adds up. I'm forgetting to talk, so I'm, I'm drifting off into my relax zone. So that's that. So now that's just made all the detail pop and things like that. So all these spang marks we'll do separately. What we'll do now is leave this to go off completely overnight and dry off and do its thing, exactly the same way we did with the cockpit. And then tomorrow we'll come back at some point. In reality it's going to be 24 hours ish, give or take. Call it 22 because of work and May work that I have to go and do. So it's going to be roughly 22 hours before I can come and look at this again. There we go. So I don't know if you can make that out. As I'm scrubbing away where it's still wet, we've added a couple of little streaks coming across this way. That's fine. It looks like oil streaks. I can work with that. I like that. So yeah. Let's say I'll finish off saying what I was saying. We'll leave this to dry overnight. I'll come back, we'll gloss varnish this again, and then we can start with some more weathering. I'll zoom out, do it that way. Ooh, I'm having one of those sessions. Nothing is sticking in my head, and I genuinely can't remember if I filmed doing the pin wash inside the seat. If I didn't, I genuinely apologise. There we go. So the pin wash is done, just to add a little bit of depth to that cushion. like so. So we'll wait for that to go off properly and we'll seal that back in with another layer of varnish. Then we'll come back and do a little highlight or two just on the top end cushions. You see where the light's falling just there. So we'll add a little bit of highlight there once that's dried, and then we can throw it into the tub, and then the tub's done. Oh, slowly getting there. Slowly. Alright, so I'll show you the alternative excuse me, version. Arsenal. I'm doing this. Now, one squeeze of a pipette type thing, which you can get off eBay for like $1 million for £3. Yeah, there's nothing specific about this at all. One suck will take you just above 1 milliliter if you're in the US, or 2.5, something daft like that. You really don't need all that much. You'll literally need a few drops. So we'll take that, and then we'll add roughly the same of paint. So it's what we call a 50-50 mix. A half and half, or 1-to-1. So whatever quantity you put in there, you will need the same quantity of paint, possibly slightly less. We'll have a quick test. I'm going to put slightly less in, and I can always add more paint in a second. If I can get the lid off. Get that lid off, it will be super. So roughly the same of paint. Now we can mix that together with a brush, or we can do the sucky squirty trick, like so, which goes everywhere. So hopefully that should be enough. If it isn't, you can all point and laugh at me. So the paint we've used there as well is the rubber black. Rubber black. Yep. Yeah, I got it right. Rubber black. I'm using the other video. Right. Get the kits on. Get the thing on with the stuff and what's it in the doodah. Once it's building up, I'll just very gently blow back into the nozzle just to give it a final mix. Ooh, bubbles! That's quite cool. That is quite cool. Right, where's that little envelope gone? I had a little envelope knocking about a minute ago. There he is. Oh! So a quick test just to see how things are. Oh, lovely. Happy with that. Going very quickly. Try and shoot some scorching just here. I'm just going to turn my pressure right down using my little thing on this side. So that's roughly where I'm after there. Just little tiny little bits. Like so. Just give the impression that there's a little bit of sooting going on. That's just tiny little scorch marks. Ooh! I got a hemo. And then we'll come in just under here for the same kind of effect. Because don't forget we've got the two cannons under here. Just tiny little bits of scorch in there as well. Like so. And then we'll add little scorches just here. Couple of little shadows, nothing major. Some little spangs. Nothing too extreme. There we go. Just tiny little fade marks. Just to dirty it up a little bit. And that is the beginning of the weathering on the cockpit bit. That's the highlights of that seat padding. So we're going to take the original base colour of green brown. We don't need gallons of this stuff. We're going to take some gold yellow, possibly a spot of that white grey, just to lighten things up a little bit. So we'll see how this goes for now. I'm just going to literally take just this tiny little bit. I've got a bent hair in my paintbrush, I'm not happy. Just add some gold yellow to it, just to lighten it that tiny little bit. It's not a huge difference. I can't believe I bent a hair in my brush. Right, let's clear some of that clutter from the background. And then wrong way. You'd think I'd be used to the zoom on this by now. And I'm not. Go focus, never mind the background. So if I play about the lighting, and just about there we can see the extreme tops of that cushion. So it's literally just coming in with that lighter colour. And just very gently fading it on. And come down slightly from where the shadow lines are. So it's roughly the top third of the cushion. Add a little bit of texture with up and down strokes. Now we may well have to come back and do a second coat of that, just to blend it in a little bit. I'm just going to build it up with tiny little dots and dabs, just to add a little bit of texture. We'll see how that dries back in a moment or two. The seat, the bottom seat itself, we don't really need to worry about because there's going to be a pilot sat on it. That's kind of effect you're after. Right then, battle damage. A mistake that we can quite easily make here now is to gunk wash over the top of this to add detail to that battle damage. I've just got my glove because I don't want to get oil paint everywhere. But if we look at this now, we've got two distinct patterns of attack. I get sent work in progress pictures all the time, and guys asking me, you know, whether they're brand new modelers or whether they've been doing this for 20 years. They've been doing one technique all the way through. Oh, huge hand. And they're now learning new techniques like this gunk washing stuff that they've never seen before. A big mistake we can easily make right now. No, it's not a mistake, it's a happy accident. Is to weather all those dents as one layer. and they're not. If we look here, if I just grab something sharp and pointy, we've got an attack there coming from this direction. We've got another one there coming from this direction, another one there coming from this direction, another one there coming from this direction. So that's one plane of attack. So as the Y-wings come through like that, we've got a strafing attack coming across this way. Just zoom out a little bit. So we've got that kind of movement going through, which is why we've got these little things here. But the dents, I'll come back down again. So we've got that dent there, we've got these little group here, we've got a little grouping there, a couple up here somewhere. These are more straight down. So these would have occurred at a slightly different time. Could have been years, could have been days, could have been hours, could have been minutes. I'm not too sure. But have that story in mind. How did he get the damage? So we've got two completely distinct layers of attack there, and then underneath we've got one coming this way, got one going there, just at the top here, and then we've got another one coming this way. So we've got an attack at the same time hitting him underside, got a second attack there, and then we've got a third attack with these little spots here. So again, we've got three distinct attacks, three distinct events, which would have been caused different ways. You know, these could be shrapnel damage, whereas these are laser blast damage. So we need to think about that now. So instead of just gunk washing everything in one go and creating just one layer of damage, we can now create at least 2 layers of damage here and 3 layers of damage underneath. See, always thinking, always thinking. So I'm going to be a little bit more control of this gunk wash than normal. Yes, if you're familiar with the videos, normally it's take this brush straight into the pot and then wallop everywhere. I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to be slightly more control, so we're going to use a slightly smaller brush. So it's the same kind of effect. And remember that this has been gloss varnished so that we've got that slidability of the paint. Now that's possibly a little bit too much. So it's going to be a cross between a gunk wash and a dry brushing. So it's not the full on thing. Come here. Thank you. So I've got a tiny little piece of toilet roll there. Not toilet roll, toilet kitchen roll. I'm going to take most of the paint off the brush, and then starting at the point of contact, it's supposed to be a bit too much still, at the point of contact where this bang happens, grab your wallop on and then flip back like so. That's still far too much on the brush, but it's not a problem. Got the gloss varnish, so we can now smooth that back like so. That's better. That's a bit more controlled. Then flip back, and again here's what's there, and then flip back. And just move it around. If it's too much, wipe it all away. It's fine. And bring in a cotton bud, just add a little bit more control. Just blend it back a little bit. And so you do as much or as little as you want. We don't have to go into the full thing. I'll absolutely batter this. That brush is a little bit too flimsy for this, to be honest. So I'm just going to put that back away. I'll take care to clean up off camera. You see that small brush? See what this does. Ooh, I like that. That's a nice effect. I do like that. Right. Let's clean that off. And just move that around with a cotton bud. Oh, good job of the lid on that. Let's get rid of it. You can move the piece around as well to suit you. Don't dislocate your wrists. A little bit of scoring. So just build it up gradually. Don't smack it all in one go. Like that, lovely. Right, so we're going to leave that now. Move underside. I'll grab that one there. So going off how dark this one is, this will be more recent than the other layers. I'm just going to stipple with the cotton bud just to rough that up a little bit. I'm pretty much happy with how that is now, so I'm going to leave that one as it is. And I'm happy with those. So you can see it's more of a sooty effect. No, not that sooty. So I'm just going to dab with the finger as well, just to roughen it up a little bit. So it's more sooty than the next layers we're going to be doing. The next layers will be slightly older. So I'm going to leave that now for a couple of days to dry off completely and seal that in, because that's one layer. So as soon as we've done this, seal it in. Well, obviously leave it to dry, seal it in. This is the longest part of the build. I've got to be careful how I introduce this next part, because the bosses at eModels watch these videos. So those of you who've seen the Yamaha build will have seen me using chalk pastels on the Yamaha exhaust itself. I don't know what this is. Ooh, this is kind of trippy. Stop it. So yeah, the chalks I presented as artists' chalk pastels, which technically they are, but you will see any second now that they're actually branded at the moment as hair chalk. I actually got these off eBay for a couple of quid. The exact same set, labelled as artist chalk pastels, will cost you around about, I don't know, £15, something like that, for something you can pick up for a couple of quid off eBay. And it's the exact same. It is the exact same thing. And basically, these do the same job as tamiya weathering powders. So if, like me, you're on a budget and you can't afford however much it is for 3 colours, you know, so like that one, that one, that one, in a tamiya weathering set, basically, this is what it is. Just get that one there, so that's a black. Just kind of clean bit of card. Basically, all tamiya do is they take one of these sticks, scrub at it with a knife blade, and that's a tamiya weathering powder. So you can pay a huge amount of money or a couple of quid. It's your choice. I know a lot of you are going to sit there and go, do you know what, I'm going to go with the Tamiya brand because it's Tamiya, and that's fine. That's fine. If you've got that income to throw around like that, then go for it. Me personally, a couple of quid, I've got 24 colours. That's all I need. Let's grab that one as well. So we've got a black, a earthy browny type colour, and a rusty orangey type colour. So basically going to now, having matte varnish this, obviously if you use the gloss varnish you've got a shiny surface that it won't quite grab onto. Now that we've matted it, it's got more of a key to it, so it's a little bit rougher, a little bit more textured. I'm just going to mix a couple of the colours together like so, and we can now tailor this to our needs, exactly the same as you would with tamiya weathering powders. So I'm just going to pick right at that front edge there, just to add a little bit of discoloration. Nothing major, just a subtle little blend. I saw that it probably won't even pick up on camera, to be honest. But we just added a subtle sheen to that corner now. I doubt very much the camera's going to pick that up. So it's basically just nip around now and do exactly the same thing as you would with tamiya weathering powders. Now I'm going to mask that area off there. Because I want a nice crisp line. So same again, just off on the bottom corner here. Rubby tape down on the desk itself. And then trim yourself a couple of masking pieces. Sticking it to the table just takes the tack off for the time being, so I'm literally just going to come across that panel line at the top there, and come down this panel line here just to mask that little panel off, like so. And literally just take some of that dark colour down. I can now just work to that panel edge, just to darken that one up, and blow down your ear whilst I'm doing it, like so, and then take the mask off. I'm hoping that was in shot because I just realised I was taking that off. That was nowhere near. So I'll do that again. Just mask this panel off down here. Now, obviously be careful now, because if we touch that now with a thumb, we're going to start taking some of that powder away, which would be a bad thing. So that line's not quite lined up, but that's okay. So I'm just take some of that weird colour, just come along that top edge there, like so. I can actually see a thumbprint appearing just here. There we go. Nice little tone. So it's just daft little tricks like that now. Just run around, pick these out. So I'm just going to swap to a finer brush. And a finer brush, like so. Bristles might be a little bit too long on this one. And use my fingertips to blend it all around and move it and shift it and things like that. He's gone quiet. So that's that. So it's just really subtle variations just to add some odd tones in there. Just emphasise the scoring a little bit. Hopefully you can make that out. It is the subtlest of changes. Really, really subtle. So I'm just going to pop off now, give that another matte varnish. So there we are. That's where we're up to. Pastel work is done, and we've got some matte varnish on there, which is actually still curing a little bit, so I'm not going to touch it too much, but lovely details. I do like that indeed. So we've still got a little bit more work to do on here. I'm not going to leave it at that. We've still got some chipping and things like that to do once this is cured. So that work is still ongoing. Just so you know, the fuselage is also well underway. Like I say, I'm trying to do it all so it's all about the cockpit and then we move into the fuselage. But the reality is it's all being done in one go. So that's where we are with that one. And just as a quick teaser, Boba Fett is being done off to the side as we speak. Yeah, I know, yellow armour. Yellow armour, what's that about? Well, you'll find out when I get around to doing that build series and editing it all together. So, you know, it's just daft things like that now, waiting for all this to dry and go off and do its thing. So, thank you so much, as always, for stopping by, and I shall see you very, very soon for the next one, when we shall be carrying on with whatever we're doing.